Thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we've got high pressure sliding in across the central U.S., and that has quieted things down, and that's reflected with our hazards map here from the National Weather Service. The big orange shading that might be catching our attention here, this is actually a child abduction emergency across portions of Texas, which scary but non-weather related. We've got some wintry weather making its way off across portions of the mid-Atlantic, getting off toward the Atlantic coast, but across the central U.S., again, high pressure dominating things, keeping it rather quiet and cloud-free. Just about everybody across the Corn Belt going to be enjoying a sunny Friday, and a lot of folks a sunny Saturday as well. As we look at the infrared satellite picture, what we're picking up here, the only colored shaded area, is very cold cloud cover, or very cold ground and snow cover across portions of the upper Midwest. But otherwise, high pressure, keeping things sunny and quiet as we get the weekend started across the central U.S. A look at the radar picture, again, the only precipitation really to be found is all the way across portions of North Carolina, getting off across the Atlantic Ocean. If we look at mid-level water vapor imagery and a loop of that, and then I put the 500 millibar height contours in there so you can follow the jet stream here. I've got our ridge beginning to move in across the midsection of the country, and the yellow shading that you're seeing here is a lot of dry mid-level air. So a drier air mass, cooler, drier air mass. But if we look off to the southwest, what we'll be talking about over the next 5 to 6 days is this trough beginning to emerge now across the southwest. You see the next surge of moisture coming, those very strong jet stream winds. This is going to be piece number one to our several-day precipitation event as we get into the early part of next week. Temperatures across the region very cold as we get started. We will be warming up into the weekend. It is going to be a sunny day today, but starting off very chilly for many of us across the Corn Belt. Temperatures in the teens all the way down towards portions of the Ohio River Valley. But if I put the 24-hour temperature change map up here and kind of tell you that the area of high pressure, again, making its way right into the central U.S. on this Friday morning, you can actually see a big area where temperatures are cooler than they were 24 hours ago at this time, but a big area where they're warmer than they were 24 hours ago. And that, again, the flow around this area of high pressure clockwise, bringing in the cooler temperatures to this region, but on the backside here, the west and the north side, with the flow coming in out of the west, out of the southwest, we've got warmer conditions beginning to work their way back in. So it's a brief cool down for many as we start to warm up heading into the weekend. Again, keeping things dry for a lot of us through much of the weekend as well. We're heading through the day Saturday here with the high-resolution NAM model, and then into midday Sunday. We'll go ahead and bring it back, stepping through time with this one again. A quiet Friday. Waking up Saturday morning, quiet again. Precipitation starting to emerge across portions of the southwest on Saturday morning. Heading into midday Saturday, Saturday afternoon, now Saturday night. Still quiet across the Corn Belt. It's not until we get into the early morning hours on Sunday we could start to see some precipitation making its way into the Ozarks here, and then beginning to expand as we head into Saturday afternoon, taking up more real estate here from portions of Kansas into Missouri. This will eventually spread its way northward as we head into the day on Monday. We'll talk about that in a moment, but just showing you the upper level pattern here that's kind of driving this. Again, watching the ridge slide in as we head into the weekend. That brings in the quieter but warmer conditions, and then here are the two pieces that we're watching. The first wave making its way across the Panhandle region here Sunday night. The next one sitting back here across the Pacific Northwest. Wave 1 swings through on Monday. Wave 2 comes back and interacts in some form or another Tuesday into Wednesday. Bigger question marks surrounding this second wave as it makes its way in Tuesday and Wednesday. The reflection at the surface as we look at precipitable water, so the moisture content within the atmosphere. Again, high pressure over the region right now, watching a lot of dry air surging into the region, but return flow does begin as early as today. It's not until we get to the back half of the weekend that we've really completed things, but moisture starting to make its way northward tonight into tomorrow. And then as we head into Sunday, here you see the first wave. Plenty of moisture interacting with this one, being drawn northward as the area of low pressure now beginning to move across portions of the Ohio River Valley during the day on Monday. That'll bring quite a bit of rain to this region here. And then the second wave comes in Tuesday into Wednesday. You're seeing it here. So the first front taking the deepest moisture with it during the day on Tuesday, but still enough moisture here for now. You can see the circulation around this next wave making its way in Tuesday into Wednesday. This is the one that could tap into some of that available remaining moisture and drop a corridor of snow across portions of the central U.S. into the Great Lakes region. We'll talk about where the probabilities of that is highest right now because we've got a lot of uncertainty, again, with that Tuesday-Wednesday wave. Let's look at the precipitation forecast here from the European model. Again, high pressure over the next 3 days, keeping things quiet. High confidence with that, high confidence with the Monday wave too. We haven't seen much change here. Looking at this would be Monday evening now, rain across portions of Missouri into the eastern Corn Belt, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. On the north side here, perhaps some snow mixing in, perhaps a wintry mix. Probably going to be talking about a very cold and blustery rain across this corridor of central Illinois into central Indiana and Ohio on Monday. So even though we talk about, or are talking about, liquid rainfall by and large with this one across the eastern Corn Belt, it's going to be an unpleasant, cold, blustery rainfall. Now, Tuesday into Wednesday, here's where the question marks are. The second wave begins to swing in and dig across the eastern Corn Belt. As it does, just enough cold air to transition over here to a period of some light snow. And now again, where the area of low pressure is, how intense that area of low pressure is, that makes drastic changes in the location and the amount of snowfall that we're going to see across this corridor. The probabilities here, we'll look at the total precipitation first here, looking at that corridor of an inch or more here from Kansas into the eastern Corn Belt, and then it's on the north side here that we'll see the chance for some snow. The probabilities from the European model on the left, the GFS on the right, the probability of 3 inches or more of snow accumulating over the next week, really again talking about most of that falling Tuesday and Wednesday. You see we have the highest probabilities from maybe eastern Iowa into northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and portions of Michigan, and then far northern Indiana and Ohio. Same thing, slightly higher probabilities here with the GFS model. Again, taking it through central, southern Iowa, through eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, getting into the state of Michigan, and then perhaps northern Indiana and northern Ohio as well with the higher probabilities there of maybe picking up several inches of snow. Now, as we get later into the season, and believe it or not, we are getting into the late portion of the season. The first day of meteorological spring is March 1st, but the sun is getting higher in the sky. The sun angle is increasing. It gets harder and harder as we get later in the year to get these real crippling heavy snowfalls. So right now, uncertainty with the amounts here as we talk about uncertainties with the location and strength of the storm system, but it looks like certainly the potential for several inches of accumulation does exist somewhere in this corridor across portions of Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, the state of Michigan, and then northern Indiana and northern Ohio. We'll also be talking about blustery conditions, especially Tuesday into Wednesday as we look at the forecast wind gusts. Monday, the first wave here, wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour possible, but then they could really be gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour as the second area of low pressure begins to swing through across a wide region of the central and southern U.S., and then especially as we get into the northeastern U.S. on the backside of the storm system, the wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour could be possible Wednesday into Thursday across that region. Temperatures, again, dealing with some cooler temperatures as we get started here Friday across the central and southern U.S., warmer temperatures off to the north. I'm going to show you a loop here over the next 7 to 10 days to talk about where we're going and what was going to be happening here as we undergo a bit of a pattern change. What I want you to watch is Alaska. We're going to start to displace a lot of warm air northward, and that is in turn going to push a lot of cold air southward into the central U.S. Now, the drawings don't make sense here as we head through the next several days because we are warming up across the central U.S. This change begins to occur mid to late next week, so now you're seeing that warm air surging back northward in the Gulf of Alaska into the western Canadian prairie, and that cold air being pushed southward back into the Corn Belt as we head into the last few days of March, or the last few days of February, into the first few days of March. Now, just looking at the high temperatures over the next few days to finish things off, your highs on Friday still a bit chilly, but really, when we think about it, about where we should be this time of year, it's unseasonable warmth that works its way in Saturday into the day on Sunday. Highs in the 50s across the eastern Corn Belt. We do start to cool off slowly as we head into Monday and Tuesday. It's not a sharp cool down, but a slow transition to a cooler air mass as we head into the middle and later parts of next week. Your overnight lows as we wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures in the teens across the north to the mid-20s across the south. Teens and 20s for much of us for the morning on Sunday as well, but those 40s and 30s starting to work their way in from the southwest. Here are your morning lows on Monday morning, and then those temperatures on Tuesday morning. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend.